for food 20 minutes ago.
You call that food?
Come on, Ben. Can't you try to...
Hello there, gorgeous gamers, and welcome back to another Pure Play TV video review. And today we're off to Europe with Ben and the gang in Ben 10 Power Trip. Available now for PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch and PC. The review we're doing today was tested on a PS4 Pro and a review code was provided by the publisher.
Sure.
I'll be straight with you, I am no Ben 10 fan. I'm about 20 years late to the party and my boy, Charlie, hasn't gotten around to spamming this kid show on the telly. But it is a kids game and I'm always down for some family friendly fun, especially when I can split screen with my mini-me. Ben 10 Power Trip takes Ben and his friends on vacation to Europe, and here we're given a big open world to play around with. As has become the norm recently, I found myself getting far too invested in a game aimed at kids, which means the game is at least decent. So stick around and I'll tell you why I've been spending my evenings with Ben and his alien alter egos. Before we carry on with this adventurous review, do us a favour and hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. And don't forget the bell icon too, so that you're the first to know when we've got new stuff for you to watch. Cheers my dears! Ben 10 Power Trip is my first taste of Ben 10 in video game form. I'm aware of the cartoon, but I've never really spent any time watching it, and I've definitely never sought it out deliberately, which is strange, because this year I found myself watching a lot more upbeat children's TV programs to help block out the misery of this awful year. For those watching in the distant future, 2020 was a poo year. Open a book and find out why for yourself. So, going into Ben 10 Power Trip, I didn't really have many expectations, at least not high ones. Licensed games tend to be on the poorer side, especially those aimed at kids, and make no mistake about it, Ben 10 Power Trip is a kids game through and through, with the target audience being ages 6 to 10. My boy is 4.5 and he still managed to do well with minimal help from me, so let that be your guide on the game's difficulty. It's not difficult at all, and the game does a great job at pushing you from one mission to the next. Ben 10 Power Trip opens with Ben and his friends in Europe for their holidays. Before long, Ben's alter egos come out to play as the evil Hex has also booked a holiday in the region. What are the chances, eh? Strange things are going down in Strudelbeck, the game's central town, and it's your job to uncover what's going on and who's to blame. In all honesty, that's about as much of the story as I can remember, and I'm sitting here recording this fresh off of playing a couple of hours. The story isn't very important and kids won't care. They'll see Ben the hero, Hex the villain, loads of monsters as the fodder, and the aliens as the fun beasts that they are. Ben 10 Power Trip is a long game too, with loads to do. The open world is basic, it's no Grand Theft Auto or Far Cry, but it has enough cartoony charm to make it worth having a poke around in. Plus, getting around town is good fun. Ben has his trusty scooter on standby, but XLR8 can bomb it down the town streets much faster, and he can hit the ramps to cover large distances in seconds, which is a handy skill to have, given that you'll be going from one region to the next quite often. Though, saying that, there is a fast travel function, but I never actually used it. Instead, I raced from one point to the next, using the extra travel time to pick up any loose coins scattered around. The game structure is simple and very easy to follow. The game even gives you direct instructions on where to go for each and every mission with an on-screen icon. Typically, you get a phone call from Gwen, she tells you something important, and a new mission is added to your mission list. You can then choose what mission to tackle next, and the game will place a helpful guiding icon on the screen for you to follow. Or you can ignore it and explore the world at your own pace. If you should choose to go exploring, it's worth noting that some areas are inaccessible without having the right alien friends with their unique abilities. At the game's start, you have no alien friends. You unlock alien forms by playing through the game's story missions, which in turn leads you to void portals. Void portals introduce the new characters in a platforming puzzle environment that acts as a kind of tutorial for each new member of the team. It's nicely done, but I'm guessing that some kids will be very annoyed to not be playing as their favourite alien right away, which is understandable. As a kid, I was always annoyed when games locked characters until the latter half of the game, because it meant I would have less time with those characters. Maybe there's a cheat code I don't know about. I doubt it. Ben 10 Power Trip is obviously low budget, but it's big on charm, and even though I can see through the cracks and I can notice the at times iffy frame rate and occasional pop-in, kids won't know any better, and they'll have been tricked into thinking that they're playing the best game ever made, and that's the achievement. There are a few downsides, mind you. On a technical level, the game works well, but once it's in split-screen multiplayer, things do get noticeably slower, and that's on PS4 Pro. Again, this is the thing that kids likely won't be bothered by. Another thing that did really annoy me was the inability to place my own waypoints on the game's map. The world is fairly big, and getting around it's easy, but the map isn't very easy to read. Plus, you can only really see the map in the pause menu. The minimap during gameplay is nigh on useless. There's hours of playtime to be had with Ben 10 Power Trip. The story missions are only the start, as along the way you'll also unlock optional side missions that serve to extend the playtime a little longer. That's not a bad thing either, because at its core, Ben 10 Power Trip is good fun. The combat is simple and repetitive, but in a kid's hand, each encounter is a matter of life and death. The platforming is a little sketchy, but essentially functional. Floaty jumping is the order of the day, and if you've ever played any platformers from the PS2, OG Xbox and the GameCube era, you'll recognise the ropes holding this one together. I saw them straight away, and honestly, I felt a little comforted by it. And that's the end of this review. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. If you did, please hit them like and subscribe buttons down below, and don't forget the bell icon too, so that you can be the first to know when we've got new stuff like this for you to watch. I've been Chris, you've been good little alien monsters, and I'll see you next time. Until then, bye!